How's it going, dudes? Welcome back to the worst board game of all time, Tournament 2. Our final two competitors have duked it out in order to determine once and for all our grievous grand champion. And now it is finally time to declare which of them has come out on top. We are going to waste no time getting to the results, so as per usual, I'll be joined virtually by my color commentator, Joshua Jacobs. Pleasure to be here, Cam, and hurry up, will ya? I'm dying to see the winner. Roger that. Let's go ahead and move on over to the big bracket to see which of these games has won it all. Heading into the center of the bracket, we find our final two competitors, with only one of them having the skills and game necessary to take home the crown. The official worst board game of all time is Breaky! The number one seed out of the Stank region, Breaky put on a truly stunning performance this tourney by wiping the floor with most of its opposition, but ended up coming into a whole new world when it faced off against the campaign. Caught in a close match that it had not encountered all tourney, Breaky even found itself down at one point for the very first time. But having the mental toughness needed to respond, Breaky was eventually able to rally and regain the lead, pulling away in the end for a close but decisive victory. With these grueling trials now behind him, the Bray King has proven himself worthy to ascend the throne and take rule over his new Bray Kingdom. A cruel and unjust ruler, Breaky is expected to use this new power in order to lay waste to both his enemies and the environment. While the campaign for North Africa, the Desert War, 1940-43 exits in a bittersweet moment of falling short of that glorious title but still taking home one of his own, and proving to everyone that he is still among the all-time greats of tournament play. The newly crowned Bray King already has its sights set on a new challenger, but before we get to that, let's slide on over and declare who will be taking home our third place matchup. Between our two consolation competitors, we ended up with the closest match of the entire bracket. How close? Well, it's a tie! The voting public simply could not come to a consensus on which game was worse, ending in a clean 50-50 with 15 Love hitting a buzzer beater that the refs unfortunately waved off, saying that he didn't get it off in time. They are reviewing the footage now to make sure, but with us left with our first ever tie, we're now going to need to determine what we're going to do with the consolation gift card. Hold on, wait a second, there's a new development. The footage has been reviewed, and take a look at this. Zoom, enhance. While the percentages are the same, that's because they aren't able to show decimals. The percents are rounded. But if we were to go on over and look at the bars, they show that 15 Love does in fact have a slightly higher amount of total votes. The basket is good. 15 Love is the winner. Are you serious? What a finish! Big's taking the lead right at the end of Once and For All Splat the Rat. You're not the boss of him. And you know what this means, ladies and gentlemen. Big Scalderhead has officially claimed his 5th win of the tournament, proving that a smart tennis player can beat a strong tennis player 5 games out of 7. Yes, sir, this game has certainly shown what he means. And with our last update before we bring in the final challenger, we now have the opportunity to declare the WBGOAT Bracket Challenge Champion. Of the over 4,000 brackets submitted to try to predict the results, only one of them was able to stand atop the field. Our Bracket Challenge Champion for the worst board game of all time, Tournament 2, is Vicens. The leading Breaky bracket, Vicens has finished this tournament with a solid 1,730 points, beating out the two brackets that tied for second by 10 and clearing the rest of the field. Vicens will of course receive the grand prize for their efforts, taking home the vintage copy of Group Therapy to add to their collection, no doubt to help with the stress of having to watch that final match. Congratulations, Vicens! But even with Breaky bringing victory to itself and its believers, there still stands one final challenge that it must aim to overcome if it wants to truly reign as the worst of the worst. As in order to earn that title, it must first usurp the current reigning champ. The unstoppable enforcer of the Diplomat Sales Co., the game made for no one, the original worst board game of all time, Adultery. Earning this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with their win, Breaky must now face down one of the most dominant games in tournament history. surpassing any challenge that the king has gone up against so far in the toughest matchup it has ever faced. In order to give adultery the respect it commands, I will spend a short time reminding everyone as to how this game achieved this position. Adultery won the first worst board game of all time tournament off of a run similar to Breakease, posting absolutely monstrous victory totals as it crushed every game that it went up against without mercy, until it met a worthy competitor in the finals that gave it a fight to remember, but not a loss. Adultery accomplished this run off the back of it being a game truly made for no one, offering no benefits to any intended audience on top of a horrible rule set that completely sideswipes the entire experience. How Adultery works is, after you manage to find a group of people willing to play this with you, each player will spin the spinner in order to earn a time chip. Each player will spin 3 times for their chip total, and then the designated time referee will have one player draw a name from a hat of the opposite sex, which will then allow those 2 players to head into a separate room where they will spend a good time together. They will be allowed to get freaky for the total amount of minutes specified on their chips, after which the time ref will halt any proceedings, lead them back to the main room where the other players have been sat doing nothing, and then the player whose name was drawn will take a new name from the other hat. Festivities continue until every player has spent a good time with 2 members of the opposite sex. Those that support adultery are in short supply, seeing as the widespread consumer audience really isn't looking for this type of nonsense in their board gaming adventures, highlighted by the fact that adultery is still a crime in 16 US states. But the real kicker is that this game also doesn't work for their target audience of swingers or the polyfolk. As while you might spend anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes fooling around with someone else, you will also be spending anywhere from 2 to 3 hours sitting around doing nothing depending on the size of your group. These groups also won't like having their activities strictly policed by the time ref, whichever poor soul gets stuck with that job, and this being the only game that includes the freaky stuff during the game, not after like the other Diplomat titles, means that this title is one of the few that can directly give you an STD during gameplay. Don't forget, Cam, that the rules as written state that all you must do is spend a good time with a member of the opposite sex. So you could end up spending that time in that room playing a game of rock, paper, scissors and somehow leave a game of adultery without even getting laid. What a fumble! All in all, this game more than earned its title of worst of the worst by being one of the few things ever created that was made for no one to enjoy. But now it must defend that title against a new challenger if it hopes to remain atop its throne, as a new king has attempted to rise to its heights and claim that which he believes to be rightfully his. As for this tournament, however, we now bring it to a close, with the winner of the Breakey Adultery match being revealed at the end of the full tournament video. I'd reveal it here, but we haven't run the match yet, so once it is completed, you will be able to learn the full result. And with that, it is now time to bring this glorious tournament to its official conclusion. Let us know below what you thought about this year's proceedings, the games you rooted for, the games you rooted against, and your favorite matchup among the battles. As a little bonus, make sure that you also check out the One Shining Moment video to relive the action in glorious ball vision and see a new perspective on each of the matches. We here at the NBGA and all of our guest specialists would like to thank you for tuning in to yet another fantastic tournament, and hope that you stick around to witness all the upcoming whack crap that we have planned for you in the future. Be sure to let us know what you'd like to see next as we close out the worst board game of all time, Tournament 2. Signing off for the NBGA, I am KamSandwich. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.